Coming up on Chapman News, Iran launches ballistic missile attacks against Israel just hours after Israeli military crossed the Lebanese border, targeting Hezbollah.
Also, today kicks off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Here in Orange County, we have inspiring stories from survivors and hope for finding a cure.
I'm Angela Hara, live outside of the Student Health Center at Chapman University. It's flu season and COVID cases are on the rise. Coming up, I'll tell you what you need to know to best protect yourself and your family this upcoming flu season. That story plus your weather and sports here on Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Stephen Hogenkamp.
And I'm Chiara Digavea. We begin today with breaking news out of the Middle East. Iran launched a massive missile attack against Israel earlier today, forcing many Israelis to seek shelter immediately. These videos from Tel Aviv show Iranian missiles flying over the city. Iran says the strike is retaliation for Israel's assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah on Friday. Additionally, Israel also launched what it called a limited ground operation in southern Lebanon this morning, and says its goal is to eliminate additional threats posed by Hezbollah. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirms Iran fired nearly 200 missiles. Israel is so far reporting no major injuries from the attacks.
As we enter the fall season, cases of COVID and the flu are on the rise. Today, Chapman University is holding the first of 4 vaccination clinics for students, faculty, and staff. Our Angela Hara is live outside the University Student Health Center with the story.
That's right, Stephen and Chiara. This flu season, Chapman University will be providing COVID vaccine boosters and flu shots at their Student Health Center and also at their Rinker Health Science Center in Irvine. These clinics will be the first on campus in 3 years.
Some may think COVID-19 is a part of history, but that isn't the case. As we head into the fall season and soon into the winter, cases of the virus begin to pick up as people spend more time inside. According to the COVID tracker website COVID Act Now, over this past week, Orange County has had 41 new COVID-related hospital admissions. Chapman Dean of Students Jerry Price notes the university sponsored several vaccination clinics at the start of the pandemic.
Back in the Wild West days, of the early days of COVID, we had clinics 2 or 3 times a year. And those tended to be back then, the federal government was subsidizing supplies for the pharmaceutical companies, so they had them free, and you could go into the community and get them, and we worked hard to get them on campus so we could have clinics here. So we've had them several times.
But this semester, there's an extra challenge. The job of Student Health Center Director is vacant, and the Student Health Center overall is understaffed.
We do have several vacancies there. It's not a big staff to begin with. It was just a weird set of circumstances where several people left. And so fortunately, it's an industry where there are people that you can hire on a short-term basis.
Those campus community members who want to get a COVID booster vaccine or flu shot will need to bring a medical insurance card and a completed vaccine consent form. It's recommended you make an appointment on the university's website.
Now, as for the latest COVID policies here on campus, university officials do say that if you test positive and are feeling sick, you should stay home. You can return to campus once you have been fever-free for at least 24 hours, but you should still wear a mask for at least 5 days. If you test positive but do not feel sick, you can still come to class, but it is required that you wear a mask. I'm Angela Hara reporting live from Chapman University campus in Orange. Back to you.
Thank you for that update, Angela. This week, the U.S. government is once again offering free COVID-19 tests that will be delivered through the mail service. Households will be able to order up to 4 at-home tests. You can order them for free at USPS.com.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Chapman News reporter Caroline Linton attended a special event where the focus is on the search for a cure and where survivors shared their inspiring stories.
Today is your story. Today is your walk. Just know that you are not alone. I was not alone. You are not alone. As you can tell from this organization, you are not alone.
The streets surrounding Newport Beach's Fashion Island were filled with pink this past weekend for the 2024 More Than Pink Walk, sponsored by the nonprofit the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Pink has long been associated with breast cancer awareness, but this annual walk is about much more than just wearing a pink-themed costume, wig, or pink ribbon.
And it's that force, and that's that reminder, though, it's that force of people that have been fundraising, raising critical dollars to fund Komen's mission. And at the end of the day, what is that about? It's about ending breast cancer forever, while at the same time providing critical care to the people who need our help right now.
For Allison Welsh, this walk holds even more weight.
My sister was diagnosed with breast cancer about 10 years ago, so we did the walk with her. And then I unfortunately lost two sisters and my mom to breast cancer. And then shortly after that, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. There was a time with my diagnosis that was pretty grim, and so I didn't think, there was a chance that you won't make it. So walking the survivor walk is very emotional, and I'm just so proud and honored to be able to do it. A lot of the treatments that I received weren't available when my sisters were going through treatment, so I understand the importance of raising funds, and Komen supports that, and so I support them.
It will take more than pink to help achieve the vision of a world without breast cancer.
It's research, it's treatment, it's patient care.
It's that systemic change through all of our public policy work. If we know through making real change at the state and federal level that someone's going to have access to high quality care at low or no cost, regardless of their insurance coverage, that's where the real change is. And so we are also working at every level to fight this disease, and we are the only nonprofit in the breast cancer space doing that.
Their finish line is a world without breast cancer, and they know the only way to get there is together. Reporting from the More Than Pink Walk, this is Caroline Linton for Chapman News.
NATO has a new Secretary General as of today. Former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte takes over from Jan Stoltenberg, who is Secretary General for more than a decade. Rutte will now be responsible for keeping a united front amongst the 32 NATO member nations. The transition comes at a time when NATO faces ongoing criticism. Former President Donald Trump has criticized the alliance for not putting enough pressure on member nations to increase their defense spending. Chapman political science professors Andrea Mole and Mac Bunyan-Yanda weigh in on the debate.
Very loud way, but it was a request that emerged even before Trump with the Obama administration. It's more than a fair request to make to some of the countries.
Now, Donald Trump has a very zero-sum way of looking at the world. NATO did not always have these kind of targets, the 2% GDP target that it has now. That's somewhat recent, within probably the last decade or so. So I think Trump might be looking at it in kind of a myopic way.
The new NATO Secretary General faces several urgent challenges, including the widening conflict in the Middle East and the Russia-Ukraine war.
Here in car-centric Southern California, community leaders in Orange County are hoping more residents will consider using public transportation. Over half of the $1.7 billion budget proposed by the Orange County Transportation Authority would go towards public transit projects. Though the OCTA has reported a steady decline in ridership over the last decade, the agency says its priority is to improve the experience of public transit users. The budget proposal seeks to increase the number of zero-emission buses on the road. The OCTA wants its bus fleet to be completely emission-free by 2040. The budget also includes funding for the expansion of the I-5 freeway here in Orange County, a project that has been underway since 2018.
California has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, and now they're getting even tougher. Here in the U.S., the Gun Violence Archive defines a mass shooting as an incident where 4 or more people are injured or killed. The group reports there have been over 380 mass shootings so far this year. California Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed new measures that further restrict access to firearms, increase protection for domestic violence survivors, and prohibit vendors from selling guns meant to be destroyed in the effort to cut down on homemade firearms. Earlier this year, Newsom signed a bill that requires firearm manufacturers to pay a tax which benefits the state's gun violence prevention and school safety fund. Newsom said in a statement, quote, "California won't wait until the next school shooting or mass shooting to act."
A Pew Research study shows about 44% of American parents are worried about a possible shooting at their children's schools. We asked Orange County school districts about school safety measures. The Newport Mesa Unified School District responded with a statement saying, quote, "We regularly practice and enhance our school safety plans while making strategic investments in security resources. This includes installing front lobby security systems, surveillance cameras, and AI-enhanced monitoring at all campuses." Local schools also conduct regular safety drills. Orange City Police Officer Philip McMullen stresses the importance of being vigilant and preventing incidents before they occur.
Any mention or whisper of a threat, we're going to take it as serious as we have to take it. It's much better to prevent it than to react and to respond to one of these incidents.
School officials say they promote vigilance with programs like See Something, Say Something, and the online reporting tools like WeTip. The vice presidential debate is later today. Coming up, we are joined by Chapman University professor to break down what we can expect and the potential impact on the election.
I'm Cora Sinnis. Here's a look at the historic circle in Old Town Orange near our campus. Coming up, we'll take a look at our local forecast, plus an update on the tragic destruction caused by Hurricane Helene. Stay tuned.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Welcome back from the break. Fall is definitely here. Our mornings are getting a little bit chilly here in Orange County.
Yes, but we're still enjoying very sunny days. Our own Cora Sinnis joins us now with local and national forecasts. Cora?
Thanks, Kiara and Steven. Things are definitely heating up here in Orange with sunny skies and a high of 87 today. Taking a look at the national forecast, we are also seeing higher temperatures in San Francisco, Seattle, and Las Vegas with highs of 85, 103, and 91 in Austin. Now, if you look at our northern regions, we have some cooler temperatures with highs of 66 in Minneapolis, 66 in Chicago, and even 70 in New York. Now, of course, all eyes are on Florida and neighboring states as we continue to learn more about the destruction of Hurricane Helene. More on that in a moment. Taking a look at our Orange County forecast, we have highs of 81 and 87 in Westminster and Orange, and some cooler temperatures of 75 and 80 in Newport and Laguna Beach. Now a glimpse ahead at the weather in Orange this week. We have sunny skies with highs of 90 tomorrow on Wednesday, and the highest temperature being on Saturday at 93. From Chapman News, this has been Cora Sinnis with your weather. Kiara and Steven, back to you for more on Hurricane Helene.
Thank you, Cora. At least 137 people are dead, and more than 600 are still missing in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Several southern states were hard hit, and more than 1 million people still don't have power. The damage is especially bad in North Carolina, with homes destroyed and miles of dangerous debris on the ground. The governor there says the storm is one of the worst disasters North Carolina has ever experienced. Meteorologists say that more than 40 trillion gallons of rain was dumped on the southeast in the last week.
Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio and Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Walz will face off in their first and only scheduled vice presidential debate tonight.
Here to preview the debate and some of the issues that may come up is Dr. Ronald Steiner, a professor of both law and political science here at Chapman University. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Thank you. All right, let's start off with what are some key issues you think will be brought up or at the center of this debate?
Well, one of the issues in this debate is, in fact, whether the policy issues are central to the debate or whether it's a matter of getting to know the personalities. On the national stage, both of these individuals are not that well known. So part of what they're trying to do is kind of represent their brand, both the ticket that they're on, but kind of who they are personally.
And then on that notion that you were talking about, the ticket, can you talk a little more about what these candidates may bring to the ticket, whether they may be perceived as assets or possibly even liabilities? We can start with Senator Vance and then followed by Governor Walz.
So Senator Vance was, again, kind of a surprise for some people. He's not that well known. He hasn't got that much experience on the national stage. He's obviously a brilliant individual, Yale Law School. He has a lot of work in hedge funds and venture capitalism, that sort of thing. So he brings a certain business savvy to the ticket. He also has a kind of really pugnacious reputation. And sometimes he used to use that against Donald Trump. He punched pretty hard against Trump, and then kind of did a big flip, and now he's kind of in Trump's camp. Some people think of him as maybe potentially even an heir apparent to the Trump movement. Walz, similarly, not that well known on the national stage, a bit of a longer career in politics, but not so high profile that people would know him. He comes across with this kind of very folksy Midwestern attitude that seems kind of genuine and kind of resonates at least with some people. Obviously a very different personality than Kamala Harris with the kind of California vibe that she brings. So a lot of people haven't gotten to know these people yet, and this is their chance to kind of present themselves on the national stage.
Thank you. And then finally, what sort of impact do you think this debate will have on voters as we approach Election Day?
Well, traditionally, we always say vice presidential picks don't have much of an impact and vice presidential debates don't have much of an impact. And I guess that's largely still likely to be true. On the other hand, this is a razor-thin race. The margins are, as small as they've ever been or could even be. So every tiny amount might have an impact. If you're fighting for a quarter of a point here or there with different constituencies.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Dr. Ronald Steiner, Chapman University Professor of Law and Political Science, speaking today about the vice presidential debate that begins at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In other news, October is Filipino Heritage Month, American History Month. Chapman News reporter Reese Velez visited a fusion restaurant in Anaheim where heritage and home cooking come together.
October is Filipino American History Month, commemorating the arrival of the first Filipinos in Morro Bay, California on October 18, 1587. It's a time to celebrate Filipino Americans' rich history and their ongoing influence in the arts, business, and cuisine. Speaking of cuisine, Lola's by MFK in Anaheim, California offers a Filipino fusion twist on American brunch. Chef and owner of Lola's by MFK, Henry Pineda, wants to share the comforting experience of Filipino home cooking with everyone.
It's really dope to see people who've never tried the food be like, wow, what is this? Or like, I haven't been to the Philippines in 20 years and like this just brings me back home. Just hearing things like that is just like really gratifying,
The Filipino pride is evident at Lola's by MFK, from the Tagalog phrases on the walls to the traditional decorations. Server Christine Labuca says she loves the strong sense of community in Filipino culture.
I love being Filipino. I'm proud of being Filipino. For me, it's like, it doesn't matter where I go. As soon as I see a Filipino, we're family.
Of course I had to try the food myself. Pineda recommends trying the Iloco Moco, the name being a nod to the Ilocos region in the Philippines. I also got the ube pancakes and ube horchata.
If you want to taste of Filipino culture, feel free to swing by Lola's by MFK with friends and family. I recommend getting the ube horchata. This is Reese Velez reporting for Chapman News.
Orange County Congresswoman Michelle Steele is requesting a federal investigation into the Santa Ana Unified School District's ethnic study classes. Last year, the district was sued by 3 Jewish groups who claim some classes contain material that is anti-Semitic. Congresswoman Steele's request for the federal investigation maintains there is a, quote, alarming pattern of anti-Semitism at the highest levels. The district denies allegations, asserting the curriculum was developed according to state guidelines. A long-standing writing and art contest here at Chapman University that seeks to teach young people about the Holocaust will continue for many years to come, thanks to a recent donation. Anaheim Ducks owners Henry and Susan Samueli have sponsored the annual Holocaust Art and Writing Contest for the past 20 years. Students from all over the world submit creative works, including films, poetry, and art, all of it based on first accounts from Holocaust survivors. The Samuelis recently pledged $3 million that guarantees the program will continue indefinitely.
The federal government wants to prevent grocery giants Albertsons and Kroger from merging. Such a merger would have a significant impact here in Southern California. Chapman News reporter Lisa Wong has more.
The merger was proposed 2 years ago. Albertsons and Kroger say they need to join forces in order to compete with rivals such as Costco, Amazon, and Walmart. But the Federal Trade Commission is suing to stop the merger, maintaining that it would result in higher prices for shoppers, as well as pay cuts and job losses for grocery workers. Kroger and Albertsons own about 5,000 local stores around the country, including Fred Meyer, Ralph's, Vons, and Safeway. We spoke with one grocery worker who was concerned about the merger's possible impact on day-to-day life.
It's definitely unfortunate, especially with the cost of living right now. Everything's very expensive and sometimes it's kind of hard.
Should the merger be approved, it would be the largest grocery chain merger in American history. The United Food and Commercial Workers International Union, or the UFCW, said in a statement that it would threaten its members' livelihoods. Local UFCW 324 staff member Christine Martinez remembers when Albertsons and Vons merged in 2014. She worked as a pharmacy tech at the time. She says she saw coworkers lose their jobs, an increase in grocery prices, and a decline in supplies that impacted customers.
And what does that do? That just brought in more anxiety, because how are we going to feed our families? How are we going to take care of them? You know, and apart from that, it really devastated the community.
However, the CEOs of Kroger and Albertsons have pledged in court that they would cut grocery prices by $1 billion and that, quote, no frontline workers will be laid off as a result of this merger.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for one bit, because that's the same kind of pledge they did before.
Despite that pledge, workers are concerned after Kroger and Albertsons announced they would sell 63 of their stores in California, a majority of which are here in Southern California, should the merger go through. I'm Lisa Wong reporting for Chapman News.
Coming up in sports, all the ups and downs and the latest for our local teams. Stay tuned.
You are in the middle of a game. Adrenaline coursing through your body. And you are calling the shots. Feel the power as you control the game's narrative. From commentator to camera virtuoso, replay wizard to unyielding director. There is no better experience than being in the moment. Challenge your limits and embrace the electrifying rush that comes with the crowd's roar. You never know the epic plays you will capture and the masterpiece you could make. You could be an amateur learning on the fly or a pro wanting to expand your skills. You will always fit in. And what better place to broadcast your skills than in sports? Never knowing what is coming next and always coming across something new. Join the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network and experience the thrill of life.
Moving to sports, a boxing promoter's lawsuit against a social media star is going to continue.
Sports reporter Ben Moscoso has the latest on the story and more. Ben?
Thank you, Stephen and Kiara. Welcome back to the Panther Sports Roundup, where we've got all the latest in this week's world of sports. Breaking news in boxing this morning as a U.S. District Court judge in New York denied a motion to dismiss Eddie Hearn's defamation lawsuit against Jake Paul. Hearn, a promoter, filed the lawsuit in 2022 against Paul, who's both a boxer and promoter. Paul accused Hearn of paying off a judge to issue a decision against one of Paul's fighters. A hearing for the lawsuit is set for October 16th. Hearn is seeking $100 million in damages. In NFL news, our local teams took a hit as the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams lost both of their games last Sunday. Here at home in SoFi Stadium, the Chargers went toe-to-toe against the Kansas City Chiefs with a tight-knit game being tied 10-10 in the fourth quarter. Despite their best efforts, the Chargers defense just wasn't enough for a resilient Samaje Perine, who cracked in between the Chargers to sneak the ball into the end zone in the fourth. Over at Soldier Field in Chicago, the Rams put Joshua Carty on overtime with 4 field goals throughout the game to try and match the Chicago Bears' lead that they had from the second quarter. However, even with a touchdown in the fourth from Kyron Williams, the Rams just couldn't catch up to the lead that the Bears had on them, with DeAndre Swift scoring the winning touchdown and Jaquan Brisker making the final interception to beat the Rams in their home turf. In Major League Baseball, the Angels finished their 9th straight losing season on Sunday. An 8-0 loss to the Texas Rangers capped off the worst season in franchise history, with 63 wins and 99 losses. A new manager and a breakout young core was not enough to get the Angels anywhere near the postseason. 10 years ago, their last playoff appearance ended in a 3-game sweep. Despite all this, fans are still staying loyal.
I love the team, you know, and I've watched this team since I was pretty much a baby. Over the past few years, or I should say decade, it's just been kind of disappointing. You know, we've been blessed to have 2 of the best players in history. I keep watching them because there's always a hope that there's going to be better tomorrow, no matter what, and that's what makes sports amazing.
Fans remain optimistic about young stars like Zach Neto and Logan Ohape to carry them into the future. Wrapping up our sports roundup is Chapman soccer news with the men and women's doubleheader on Saturday against the Pomona Pitzer Sagehens, with the Panthers bringing home wins for both teams. The men's side saw a long, drawn-out game, with the Sagehens getting confrontational in the second half, with both teams looking frustrated. However, this did not deter the Panthers from their game, with 2 goals in each half securing the victory for the men's team. The women's side saw an even longer drawn-out game, with the Sagehens' defense being a key factor for them. Just as things seemed to be headed for a tie, Chapman's own Emma Harper scored a game-changing header into the goal to break through the Sagehens' defense and secure the Panthers' winning goal. Harper was named as CSPN's VIP and said that Chapman got exactly what they wanted out of the game.
Tough game, and we all fought super hard, so our team has so much heart, and yeah, I think we got the outcome we wanted.
Both of Chapman's soccer teams are set to face the University of Laverne tomorrow afternoon. That has been our Panther Sports Roundup. I'm Ben Moscoso, and we'll see you next week for another round of the best sports news. Stephen and Kiara, back to you.
Thanks, Ben. California joins a short list of other states that now offer digital IDs. You're now able to present your California driver's license or state ID through the Apple Wallet app, but you are still encouraged to carry your physical card. Law enforcement, state government agencies, and many businesses are not yet accepting the mobile driver's license, but you can still use them at the airports. The Transportation Security Administration website has more information on that. To add your ID, just go to the Apple Wallet app, click the plus sign, and click Add Driver's License or State ID. You will scan your ID and face to confirm your identity.
45,000 dock workers on strike today, shutting down 36 ports along the East and Gulf coasts. The strike, which began at midnight, is halting activity at the nation's busiest ports. Longshoremen are demanding higher wages and a ban on automated cranes, grates, and container moving trucks in loading and unloading zones. The union workers say those automated machines threaten their jobs. The strike could result in a shortage of wide-range products from car parts to fresh produce.
I'm Ingrid Lee, and after the break, find out the secret ingredient that makes this Orange County donut shop a sweet success. Coming up on Chapman News.
We're Chapman News, and this is our newsroom.
Our team includes 15 multimedia journalists. We take on every role.
From on camera in the studio to behind the camera in the control room.
We're storytellers dedicated to providing you with the news that matters most here in Orange County.
We are here to inform you.
Got a story we should cover? We would love to hear from you.
At the center of it all, this is Chapman News, and we are here for you.
Food feeds the soul and family feeds the heart. But what if they were to combine those together?
Our feature reporter Ingrid Lee took a closer look at a family-run donut shop here in Orange County. Ingrid?
Thanks, Stephen and Kiara. Oli Boli Donuts started off as a vision 6 years ago for high school sweethearts Victor and Brooke Dupre. Now, it's a thriving shop in Tustin. But at the end of the day, family is what Victor and Brooke want everyone to remember. And they have done so by creating a community through their business. Take a look. Visitors to this donut shop in Tustin, California, step into a friendly environment, and it's not by chance. The owners have paid special attention to every detail. They say they want everyone to feel like family.
We always strive for excellence in everything, and so I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is our staff and us. I think we kind of create this loving, familial, welcoming environment that people love to be here, I think, too.
Oli Boli Donuts was started by Victor and Brooke Dupre, but the inspiration comes from family.
Our mom, she was inspired by food and really just wanted to open a donut shop that really cultivated the natural, really embracing the nature and the resources that God gives us, and really putting that in the donuts. And so you'll notice that a lot of our donuts are really embracing just the real lemon and the flavor of the lemon or the strawberry. She was inspired by that, and so she wanted to open this place, and who better to open it with than your family?
In addition to family, Haley and Victor believe it is the ingredients they use that sets Oli Boli apart from other donut shops, especially their dough.
Our dough is like a sourdough. It's really been perfected, the process. And same with all the toppings that we offer too. We always strive for excellence in everything. For Christine. Right, have a great day, you guys.
Victor says while the hours are long and there are many challenges, the reward is the community that has embraced their business.
What's fun here is we get a lot of families that multi-generation. We've had 3 or 4 generations that all live in the area that come here, and they're all having a good time. I mean, the kids have fun and the great-grandparents have fun.
Oli Boli is always trying out new recipes for their seasonal donuts, but I personally recommend trying their bestseller, butter pecan. This has been Ingrid Lee reporting for Chapman News. Stephen and Kiara, back to you.
National Taco Day is upon us, with Taco Bell changing the date from this Friday to today. However, restaurants are still acknowledging the original date, with some now celebrating both days this week. Some of the best deals come from Del Taco, El Pollo Loco, and Rubio's Coastal Grill, all restaurants that will have specials on both days. Taco Bell is also leading the pack with hourly coupons on their mobile app all day. Be sure to check your local spots as well as your mobile apps for more deals this week.
That is all we have for this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Stephen Hogenkamp.
And I'm Kiara Digavea. We'll see you next week.